What is Pilates? So we've all heard doctors and other people around us maybe saying to us that Pilates is a really good training method, a really good class, and maybe it's something that we should be doing to look after us. Certainly if you've got a bad back, somebody will have said to you at some point, maybe go and give Pilates a try. So let's give you a little bit of history about Pilates. So Pilates was created over 100 years ago by a man called Joseph Pilates, hence the name Pilates. Joseph Pilates was born in Germany and he emigrated to the UK. He had a massive amount of interest in physical activities. He picked this up from his father. He trained as almost like a strongman. He also trained in, they called it gymnastics, in martial arts, was heavily into boxing. So he was quite into a lot of these big, somewhat seen, certainly at that time, manly sports. He also worked in a circus as well, and he also trained the British police in self-defense and things like that. With the onset of a world war, Joseph Pilates, being a German in England, obviously you couldn't let Germans be running around, they might be spies. So he was put into a number of internment camps. After being in those internment camps, when the war ended, he, not surprisingly, left England, went back to Germany for a bit, worked with a load of dance companies on helping them improve their performance, and then moved to New York and worked with a load more over there, including Martha Graham. He met his wife Clara and created a studio and started to put together what we now call Pilates. He called it Chronology. At the core of Pilates are 6 fundamentals. And Pilates essentially is a teaching method, not necessarily a set of exercises. The teaching method has 6 fundamentals: precision, centering, breathing, flow, control, and concentration. And we'd probably do well when putting all of those things into any type of exercise that we're going to do. So precision, we're looking at the most precise way that we can work and execute our technique. Centering, we nowadays call it core, but for Pilates it's definitely centering. There's all those muscles, that box of muscle that is around our lower back and our spine to keep us supported. Hence why Pilates is so often recommended for people with poor backs. More strength around the lower back area will increase the amount of stability that the spine has and hopefully, as a knock-on effect, reduce pain. Breathing kind of seems like a sensible thing to do in everyday life, but we control how we breathe in Pilates, breathing in through the nose and out of the mouth with control. Flow, the way that we move each exercise. It comes through with our in-breath and is connected, that one part of the exercise is on the in-breath and one part of the exercise is on the out-breath, and can be considered grace or fluidity that's within the movement. Control is how we move. We often have something called a precision marker, which we make sure stays completely still and is supported around a joint as the rest of the limb moves in Pilates. And finally, concentration, which I think that we all need in any kind of exercise or anything that we are doing in life, don't we? Like I'm struggling to concentrate right now with 3 women walking behind me having a good old chat. For me, Pilates is, each instructor will be slightly different in how they put a Pilates class together, depending on what outcome we want from each Pilates class. I personally run a number of different Pilates classes at my club. We have a back care Pilates course that's taken me a few years to put together, and each year it changes depending on new evidence-based theories that come through from science. We also have a traditional mat-based Pilates class and sometimes an equipment-based Pilates class where we might use Pilates balls, Pilates rings, Pilates cushions, which up the ante on how we work in Pilates. introducing either strength training with the Pilates ring, or maybe instability training using the ball or the Pilates cushion. The exercises are usually done up to an amount of 10. Some days we can make 10, some days we can't. Some days we feel like we can conquer the world and we can do more. But the great thing about Pilates is because it is controlled by breath, and it's controlled by your breath, it depends on how fast you breathe to how fast you move, which means you have control in the class of what is working for you and how you work. Coming from an evidence and strength-based training that Joseph Pilates had done over a number of years, you can see where there are elements of martial arts maybe coming in, where there are elements of gymnastics that come in, strength training, core training, as we would now call it, are all in there within the class. And again, my concentration goes with somebody walking behind me. We can use all of those different parts to create a class. Now, there are a set number of exercises that Joseph Pilates kind of said these are the ones that I'd like you to use in his method of training. And what we generally do is, as an instructor, we will pick how we want to get there. For me personally, it's usually an all-round workout, but at different times of the year I might base it on different things. So if summer's coming, I know that there's a general request for more ab space because we're all just a little bit vain and we want to make sure that we're looking good when we get on the beach. It might actually be Christmas here in Fuerteventura, but I'm on the beach, hence the weather's not quite as nice as it would be. But we can use the exercises that are given to us in a way that feels good or works for what we're aiming to get out of it. Which is why each different Pilates instructor will be slightly different. Each class that you go to will be slightly different depending on what the outcome of the class is that we want. So my advice to you is go and try a Pilates class. If you didn't like it, try it again with another instructor and then again with another instructor. If you still don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to like Pilates. Maybe it's not the class for you, or maybe it's not the class for you right at this moment. For me, it took a long time for me to go from being a dancer and a gymnast, jumping around, to come down to the amount of control that was needed to teach Pilates. If you're that person that really likes HIIT training, that's great. But maybe later on, Pilates would be something that you find beneficial. It might not be the thing right now, but if it is, it's a really good class for training the center, for finding precision of movement, control and flow. Give a class a go and let me know how you get on.